Dakota Mayer was born and raised in Columbia, Kentucky. In 2006, after graduating from high school, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps at a recruiting station in Louisville, Kentucky. Mayer stated the reason he chose to enlist in the military instead of going with his original plan to play college football was a result of a Marine Corps recruiter taunting him, saying he would never be good enough to become a Marine. So I guess he wanted to prove him wrong. Mayer deployed to Fallujah, Iraq in 2007 as a scout sniper with 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines. On September 8, 2009, near the village of Ganjgal, Mayer learned that 3 Marines and a Navy corpsman who were members of Mayer's squad and his friends were missing after being ambushed by a group of insurgents. Under enemy fire, Mayer entered an area known to be inhabited by insurgents and eventually found the 4 missing servicemen dead and stripped off their weapons, body armor, and radios. There, he saw a Taliban fighter trying to take their bodies. The fighter tackled Mayer, and after a brief scuffle, Mayer grabbed a baseball-sized rock and beat the fighter to death. With the help of Afghan soldiers, he moved the bodies to a safer area where they could be extracted. During his search, Mayer killed at least 8 Taliban, personally evacuated 12 friendly wounded, and provided cover for another 24 Marines and soldiers to escape likely death at hands of a numerically superior and determined foe. When President Barack Obama's staff called Mayer to set up a time for the president to inform him that his case for the Medal of Honor had been approved, they were told Mayer was working at his construction job and were asked to call again during his lunch break. Mayer was awarded the Medal of Honor in a ceremony on September 15, 2011. When a White House staffer contacted Mayer to arrange the ceremony, Mayer asked if he could have a beer with the president, and President Barack Obama agreed to the request. Mayer is the 2nd youngest living Medal of Honor recipient, the 3rd living recipient for either the Iraq War or the war in Afghanistan, and the 1st living United States Marine in 38 years to be so honored. This is who Harry is comparing himself to. In an interview that Harry granted to ITV when he was posted, when he was doing his post in Afghanistan, he told that the reason why he had chosen to leave his family behind and go to Afghanistan was because they had great curry. They had great chicken curry, great goat curry, and they played fantastic games. On top of that, the Gurkhas took excellent care of him, and they played fantastic games outside. Also, he had his SAS bodyguards who would make sure that nothing happened to him. There was a horrible attack at the camp where he was based and stationed, and he slept the entire time. The entire attack, he slept through it. And he was evacuated. He only woke up to be evacuated to safety. Against this background of bravery of many, many soldiers, Marines, and one of them being Pat Tillman, who gave up a life of luxury, multi-million dollars, an all-round American soldier, a good son. He went to serve his country and paid with the highest price. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Harry, who is a common coward. That is who received an award in the name of this brave soldier. Where do we begin with this? In order to begin with this, we're going to dissect the speech, because that speech on that stage was the most shameful thing he's done to date. Even to the point that he gave the middle finger to this fallen hero's mother, Mrs. Mary Tillman, and everything Pat Tillman represented. So let's get into dissecting this speech, because even the military now is calling for him to hand over the award. We're going to start with him receiving the award. And I'm going to make some stops here, guys, for you, because we have to react to this. Obviously, Marie Tillman is regretting.
Whoa. Come back.
Now, Harry is not asking them if they can please stay behind so they can all share the award. And keep in mind that the lady in red has an artificial leg, and it's actually quite uncomfortable to stand for long periods of time. You will see her limping across. And she is so intimidated by Harry that she doesn't dare move from that spot until much later during the video.
Come back. You guys got to stay here for me.
But why? Why do you need them to stay there, Harry? Look at the lady limping.
Thank you, Elizabeth, Israel, and Kirsty.
Now, these two people here are wondering what the hell are they doing there, because they were not supposed to be there. He was supposed to be there on their own. So what this brave man is doing is using these 3 veterans who are horrifically injured, who've gone through horrible battles, and who actually are brave, as body shields. He's using them as shields so the booing stops, because I can't play it because of there's music and I might get copyrighted. But when he was walking up the stage, he was booed. The problem is that just like when Kim Kardashian, when Kim Kardashian was booed when they were roasting Brady or Brad, whatever his name is, and Gisele Bündchen's ex-husband, she was booed. Netflix cut it. So in this thing here, they ramped up the applause and everything else. So they tried to drown the boos, but they couldn't. And Harry knew that. So he wanted those 3 people there as shields. That's how much of a coward he is.
Kirsty, stay here. You need to
stay here. You need to stay here with me. And all of these people are wondering, especially this lady. Look at this lady. She actually wanted to move to the other side, which she will do later on. But she doesn't, because she's just so paranoid and such a coward.
be with me. I'd like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to everyone at the Pat Tillman Foundation, led by Marie Tillman Shenton, who I'm so honored is here tonight.
She doesn't look that happy, does she? I'm sure she's regretting, because she knows the backlash.
The truth is, I stand here not as Prince Harry Pat Tillman Award recipient, but rather a voice on behalf of the Invictus Games Foundation and the thousands.
But you don't respect her, do you? Because if you respected Pat Tillman's mom, she was very clear, concise, and precise, and said that she didn't want you to be a recipient for an award in her son's name. So by you accepting that award, you're spitting on her face, and you're basically giving her the middle finger. That is no respect, because he knows he's a toy soldier. He's a coward. And proof of that is that he needs 3 veterans, one of them with an artificial leg, standing there, probably uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable, just so he won't get booed. So he's using these veterans as body shields. And they are his, involuntary Gurkhas, like the ones that took care of him in Afghanistan, who babysat him and coddled him. So no, he doesn't respect Pat Tillman's mother's at all. Clearly, because he's holding on to that award, undeserved award, very, very tightly.
Her advocacy for Pat's legacy is deeply personal and one that I respect. The bond between a mother and son is eternal and transcends even the greatest losses.
Yeah, and one of the losses for her is that after her son not only died, but she had to fight to find out what happened to her son. Now she has the widow and you exploiting his name for PR moves and for money.
The truth is, I stand here not as Prince Harry Pat Tillman Award recipient, but rather...
Yes, you do. That's exactly what you're doing. You're standing there and you want people to know that you're Prince Harry. I'm not standing here only as Prince Harry Pat Tillman Award recipient. You want people to know that you're a prince and that you are keeping the award, that you are the recipient, in spite of the fact that the mother of the slain soldier told you, I don't want you anywhere near my son's names.
Rather, a voice on behalf of the Invictus Games Foundation and the thousands of veterans and service personnel from over 20 nations who have made the Invictus Games a reality.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything. It was the Royal Foundation who actually created Invictus Games. He didn't even know what Invictus meant. He didn't know. It was the Royal Foundation with Prince William, the then Duchess of Cambridge, and him. He never participated in any of the planning, nothing. He didn't get involved with that. He just showed up where they told him to show up. The Royal Foundation raised the funds, set everything up, and put this idiot as a front so they would give him something to do. And basically, he's there on stage, tooting his own horn, saying how much of an accomplishment he is, that he's not there as Prince Harry, but yes, he is, because they're using the titles.
This award belongs to them, not to me.
Then why are you holding it? Why didn't you have people from the Invictus Foundations, at least one veteran?
That said,
that's important. That it doesn't belong to him, but that said, I'll keep it.
It is of great importance to me to highlight these allies, athletes, and their amazing families.
Doesn't he look like Bert from Sesame Street without the hair? It's important to him, so he's keeping, because you see, by him getting the Pat Tillman Award, then that'll say that it's important to him to highlight. By the way, Invictus Games Foundation fired two of the most senior, most respected directors in Canada because they complained and they pointed out that Harry, along with his wife Meghan, were using the Invictus Games Foundation's bank accounts as a piggy bank for Meghan to buy her clothes and take personal private planes and use it for for everything else other than to help the veterans.
For their achievements, their spirit, and their courage.
Something you lack, Harry, because you can't even stand on stage on your own, and you're ugly as hell.
At every opportunity, especially on nights like this, in front of people like you.
Yeah, a bunch of corrupt people. Everybody in that audience was corrupt, pretty much. The people who made that possible for Harry to be on stage that night, even Serena Williams, who's a complete sellout and another narcissist, made that possible. Also, please be aware that Harry got a percentage of the ad revenue during this show. And they had huge sponsors. So just like when they did Oprah. Oprah didn't literally pay them cash, but they got a percentage of the ad revenue during the Oprah Winfrey special with Harry and Meghan. And they donated to Archwell Foundation as a donation. They still haven't filed the 2022 nor 2023 tax return, so we don't know what's what.
Moments like these help us reach those that need Invictus most and reduce more than 20 veterans a day taking their own lives in this country alone.
Look at this lady, how she's looking at him. He couldn't even get the stats right, And everybody's looking at him. It's like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with anything? This is the Invictus Games Foundation, but he wants to be the savior. Thanks to him, 20 veterans are not killing themselves. Thanks to him, all to Harry. So they're all looking at him. It's like, no, you idiot. You're a bully. You're a liar and you're a coward. And you're really, really starting to bugger me off because I have to stand right here next to you on my artificial leg, which is actually starting to hurt.
For those who may not know, Invictus comes from Latin.
You didn't know. You were one of the people who didn't know.
Meaning undefeated or unconquerable.
It's It's amazing how condescending he is. He assumes that everybody is as uneducated as he is.
Nelson Mandela credited the poem of the same name.
Oh, let's not forget. Then Meghan said that the people in South Africa took to the streets and danced just like they did when Mandela was freed.
Written by the poet William Ernest Henley, for giving him the strength to endure nearly 30 years of imprisonment.
He's making their comparison to him being in prison at the palace. People don't understand the subtleties of this, but this is what he's trying to say, that just as Mandela was a prisoner, so was he that had to endure 30 years of the palace life, all the privilege, all the partying, all the pampering, all the cuddling.
Like that poem, the spirit of the Invictus Games transcends race, time, and borders. It is born from unity and exudes purpose.
No, it doesn't. It only exudes you having a bank account or using their funds as petty cash so you can hire private planes and fly around with Meghan Markle in those god-awful clothes.
This year, we're celebrating 10 years.
This is actually quite horrible to see this stage, because against the backdrop of the Pat Tillman Award for Service. Do you understand that this is an award for service? This is supposed to go to an athlete who has served his country. Harry has done either.
Years of witnessing life-changing impact and healing through sport.
Yeah, this is right here. This is Serena Williams. Serena Williams' agent, and she got Serena Williams to say words to Meghan Markle, and behind Meghan Markle we have the bodyguard. But yeah, Meghan Markle, she knew they were going to cut to that, and she has to blink and look at Harry. Finally, this lady moves across in the red dress because she didn't want to stand there alone on stage with the leg, probably hurting.
And while so much progress has been made since those first games, the world outside seems to be in an even more precarious state. We live in an age marked by
this gentleman here, you're going to hear them talk, and they're literally mocking him.
Polarization and division. Conflicts rage around the globe. Anger and resentment towards those who are different.
Now, please, I'm gonna rewind this a little bit, because when he says anger and resentment to those who are different, he is talking about himself and Meghan, because he truly believes that because he's different, that angers people. Please listen to that little bit, because that's very important. He's basically calling himself a victim because people don't understand him. He doesn't understand that. He thinks that his actions, behavior, slandering, defamation, attacks on his family who have done nothing but to love and support him, and even that skanky wife of his. But he calls himself different, and that angers people. Just listen to that, please.
Those who are different seem to pervade societies everywhere. Our community challenge.
Now, please look at Venus Williams. And look at poor Serena Williams' daughter. She wants to be anywhere but there. And this guy, Ohanian, I think that's Serena Williams' husband. But look at Venus Williams. And I'm going to tell you why she was eyeing Meghan Markle. And it's not because she dislikes her or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you, this is just my opinion. But you're going to see what I mean afterwards. But just pay attention to what Venus is doing.
Challenges that. Our community proves that unity is not just possible, but formidable. The beauty of the Invictus Games lies in how it brings people together. No matter one's nationality, background, or personal struggles. It is a collective built from courage and mutual respect, where athletes discover time and time again the common denominator of their humanity. Having survived the crucible of armed combat.
Something that he never did, by the way. He has never faced one day in combat at all. Not one day. I wish at least half an hour of combat. The only time that Harry actually saw a wounded soldier was on his way back to the palace to be met by two future kings. And a wisp of air blew the curtain open on the back of the plane, and he saw a horrifically injured soldier. Of course, he didn't go and say anything or say hi or anything. He was just traumatized by that. But this man has never seen one day in combat.
And forged through the challenge to rebuild bodies and minds impacted by conflict, they form a family.
He says all of this while he has 3 human shields on stage, 3 human Gurkhas, the same ones that he had in Afghanistan, because he doesn't have the balls to deliver a simple speech on his own. And he needs them to stand there so people won't boo. Look at the lady in white. She's completely zoned out, thinking, what the hell am I doing here?
They exemplify the very best in all of us. There is a military expression that dates back to Roman times. I'll spare you another Latin lesson. But the phrase translates,
yeah, these 3 are laughing at him because Harry is an idiot. I'll spare you another Latin lesson. He's the only idiot who probably didn't know that in the entire world. But look at them. They're just mocking him.
The phrases translates roughly to leave no one behind. And they hold particular significance for the US Army's Rangers. And I have no doubt Pat Tillman and his comrades lived by those words. So it is fitting that I end with them and make a promise on behalf of all of us.
Yeah, he's making a promise, just like he promised the Queen when he did that Apple thing with Oprah. He told the Queen that it was going to be about the veterans. Instead, he used the Apple show with Oprah to complain about everything. Just like he promised the Queen that there were going to be working royals and they were going to hit the ground running and there weren't going to be a team. Just like he promised those veterans that were waiting for him, the people who were wounded in Iraq or died in Iraq. And he skipped to go to pimp Meghan Markle at the Lion King's open premiere in London, where he met with Bob Iger, who's a huge proponent of giving him this award, by the way, because Disney owns ESPN and ESPN owns the ESPYs. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this guy saying that he's never going to leave behind. This is a man who fled, who has betrayed his country, his nation, something that you will not hear Marines say. This is a man who hates his own nation. And if people think that he's going to be once a traitor, always a traitor.
At the Invictus Games Foundation, no matter the road ahead, we are here for you. We will leave no one behind.
Just keep that in mind also, because he did say the same thing to Liketso. Liketso is the little girl that he left behind. He founded Centevale. He founded Centevale for that little girl, and he took off. And now, years later, she's begging for food because he did abandon her. He did abandon Liketso. He has abandoned his country, and not only abandoned, he has trashed them on their way out. Now, I just want to say something about about Venus Williams, because I know there's a lot of things going on around there. So do you see this dress Venus Williams is wearing? It's pretty much exactly the same dress that Meghan Markle is wearing, just in a different shade. This is why she didn't stand up right away when Prince Harry moved, because if she stood up, you would see that both dresses are exactly the same, just different colors. That is all there was to it. It was just vanity. Granted, I don't think that she likes her, but I think it's more to that. I think that that speech was shameful. And I know a lot of people have given it kudos because at least he acknowledged Mrs. Tillman. Or people have said that he's acknowledged that he doesn't deserve it. At no point had he said he didn't deserve it. Please point out where he says he doesn't deserve it. If you can point, please show me in the comments. Leave it in the comments if you think that he said that he doesn't deserve it. I didn't see it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.